Today I've received a package, not a package from China, it's actually from a store here in my country. And the thing is, I wanted to get into this hobby for a very long time now, and it's finally to the time to get myself into the statues again, because this was an old hobby of mine that I really enjoyed. The unfortunate thing is, when I started YouTube, I sold all of my collectibles, I just needed to put everything in my company. And now slowly I wanted to get into the saddle and start enjoying myself collecting products. So in general, I'm kinda done with Marvel when it comes to the movies, but I must say they really surprised me when it comes to the What If show. When I started watching those short things on YouTube, I realized that I really need to get the show on Disney Plus to check out what is this going on with this What If. At first, when watching the show, I was kinda, not intrigued by it, and I had struggles trying to watch every single episode. But nearly to the end, I can tell you, this is a spoiler alert, we're meeting a character that I was never thinking they were doing something like this. I want to expand my hobby of statues, looking into some Ultron statues, realizing Iron Studios made an Ultron Infinity statue. The first thing, and that was one of the things I didn't know if I'm going to be liking this, they are going to be moving into a different scale. In the beginning of my statue, let's say hoarding and buying, I bought a lot of 1/4 scale statues. But the thing is, they are going to be into the 1/10, and that means that these statues are going to be so much smaller and tinier. So what is a really convenient thing about this is that actually all of the boxes are going to be so much easy to store, because that's one of the biggest nightmares with collecting. So first impression of the body, it's very lightweight, but the overall paint job is amazing. So of course his spear has been divided in two pieces that you need to click together, and later on in the video I will show you how you need to assemble it. But the overall paint job, I'm quite surprised. So let's go moving on in the first layer, and this is the other side of the spear that he's actually holding and that you need to be clicking together. So the construction is not with any magnets, you're just going to be sliding it in, and you always need to be very gentle with this, of course. But beside that, it seems to be looking all good so far. Here we're having the base itself, and the base I was also very intrigued how this feels, and I can tell you the first impression that this thing feels very heavy, like a very solid risen statue. And Iron Studio didn't put any numbers on it, so they can keep producing this. A little bit of a downside to this, but unfortunate that is what we need to live with. So far, I don't know if they're going to be making them, because I did notice that a lot of stores this thing was sold out. The next thing we're having are two heads. Yep, they're interchangeable with a magnet configuration, and that's kind of cool. So you can just play it, kind of have a double feeling with these things, because I just want to display them with both heads, but that is not, of course, not possible. But as always, like downside, it's kind of cool that they give you this, but we need to choose which one we're going to be using. Okay, so this was basically all of the parts when it comes to the first layer, because there are two actually layers when it comes to the figure itself, or figure statue. And I must say the overall paint job, I'm quite surprised, and everything looks kind of cool. But take consideration that the statue, and particularly like the figure itself, is that we're having an armor. So this thing is just silver with a couple of, let's say, different colors between it. But the overall, I will show you later on the close-up, you will see that the details are absolutely superb and the paint job is great. But first let's get this freaking thing inside of the base. And it works very easily. Okay, then next up, the spear. Right, I mentioned before, this is in two pieces, so what you need to do is be very gentle to begin with, because I kind of feel that this thing is very lightweighted, so that's positive. So it will not, let's say, give some unbalance of your statue. So that's it. It will slide forward and backwards, but that doesn't have any negative effect. The two heads, just a quick zoom in, have no light of future, none of the things. And the next layer, we're going to be unboxing his cape. The first thing I've noticed that the cape itself is very thin material, very lightweighted, and that is a positive thing, to be honest. And that's the reason, because if it not is going to be too heavy, it's going to be giving you unbalance to the figure itself. So that's absolutely great. The cape has a lot of nice details, so let's put it on. It works with two magnets, they're quite strong. It will click in place, and that's it. And then you're done. Next thing that we need to do is putting the head on. And then we're actually done with assembly of the statue itself. So if you need to move it around, you don't need to do a full disassembly of this thing. And of course the second head looks absolutely amazing. I cannot still figure out, let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. So, but when you're looking at the details of this figure or statue itself, this thing is absolutely amazing. And it makes me very happy that I bought the Iron Studios. When it comes to the Infinity Gems, you can just see that they're using a kind of a resin, like translucent resin, to give it a more effect. It would be even more epic if this thing had a light up feature, but we cannot have everything. But when you're zooming in even more detail with my camera, you can just see that the paint job is very nice. There is no weird lines going on, so the way how they painted this is absolutely great. But in short, the reason why I purchased this statue. So to begin with, the prices they're asking for the Iron Studios are quite expensive. But is it really worth it? That is of course something you need to decide. I do have a double feeling when it comes to this, because these things are quite tiny compared with the money you're paying now for it. But I think that changed a lot in, I think the last 5-6 years I didn't collect. Beside that, the Ultron statue, I picked it up because I think the Infinity Ultron of the What If series is absolutely one of my favorite characters, or villains in that case. Where I find Thanos absolutely cool character and slash villain. This is just like the next level. He just eradicates the universe. He's just destroying everything because his program is made for, let's say, giving peace in his own way, of course. So it's Terminator meets Disney, and one of the quotes Marvel also makes in the series. You should absolutely just like look it up because it's just great. Yeah, there are some quick videos online. You can just look all of the action, but of course I think you need to stream it to find the full video. The pose is absolutely epic. I'm very glad that I managed to pick it up, because it's highly possible with the collectibles that they're going to be sold out, and you need to look into like an eBay and just pay like crazy prices. So for me, if this means that I'm going to be getting back in the saddle forever and just keep going buying new statues, that is something. Let me know in the comments, would you love to see more statues here? This is absolutely one of my passions beside all the stuff that I review here from China. Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, hit the little bell, and it would be great to see you in the next video. And maybe with some more Marvel or game related stuff. That's all up to you, so let me know in the comments.